The way cloth works in Blender might just have been changed forever. You may be thinking, Brandon, there's not cloth in geometry nodes, but in 5.2 alpha, there is. And long-term support for Blender 5.2 is coming out pretty soon, so get excited for that. I want to be upfront with you. This feature is experimental and, it can crash your Blender, so save often. You probably shouldn't try to use this with client projects yet. Still, they're working out the kinks. So without further ado, get into it. This video is going to compare the traditional cloth modifier versus the new Geometry Nodes cloth dynamics. Both of them have things that are better than the other, and some of them meet in the middle. I thought this was interesting enough that I should tell you about it. So today, I'm gonna run 5 tests. Same mesh, same scene, same collision object, but one is going to be with the traditional cloth modifier and one will be with geometry nodes. We need to pit these two against each other by testing the setup speed. All right, which one is faster to use? That all depends on a variety of factors like your bake time, your number of iterations, how many revisions you need to go through before you get a good simulation. This is the typical flow. Add a plane, subdivide it, add the cloth modifier, add a collision object, set your collision, hit play, done. Honestly, maybe like 2 minutes of work if you know what you're doing. The UI pretty much guides you the entire way there, and I'm pretty sure anybody could figure it out with the tooltips. It's worth noting that before actually using the cloth dynamics node in geometry nodes in 5.2, you're gonna have to go enable the setting for it under preferences. Now for geometry nodes, the setup is a little bit different. First thing you're gonna do is add a plane like normal. Open the geometry nodes editor, add this cloth dynamics node, and then you add in your colliders. And honestly, it's a little bit more steps. There's not really anything to get around that. And if you've never heard of geometry nodes, this is going to be foreign to you. For test 2, we're going to test the artistic control. This is where things get pretty interesting. So let's say that I want to pin these points so that they don't move whenever the cloth is activated. For the traditional cloth modifier, you would go to edit mode, select your vertices that you want to be pinned, go to the vertex attributes in properties, and then click on add group, and then assign these vertices to this pin group, and you can name it pin if you want to. Then you go to your cloth modifier, down to the shape tab, and then add your pin group in there under vertex group right here. With the geometry nodes, your pin is similar where you go and create your pin group, but there's a lot more functionality with it because it actually comes through as a field, which is editable. It's driven by whatever you want, like a weight map, procedural gradient, texture, other objects, position. And because it's procedural, you can animate it without remaking. It's pretty great. It responds in real time. The same thing with the wind. Whenever you're trying to art direct your cloth and you want to, say, have it blow in the wind a certain direction, for the traditional cloth modifier, you add a force and then that goes and is baked into the dynamics whenever you bake the simulation. For the geometry nodes, you actually input that as a bundle. There's a node for it. It's under the force node. So with this, you can manipulate this force with a vector. And traditionally, this is like if you add 1 on the x-axis, then it's going to blow in the x-axis. It's basically going to be your wind. This is a very basic setup. And there's other ways that you can add noise to this and make it a little bit better. I'll be honest, geometry nodes flow takes a little bit longer to set up, but it's a lot more intuitive whenever you're trying to change what's happening with your mesh. For the third test, we're going to be talking about handling revisions. So when you change something on a bake simulation, you have to rebake that simulation. And with the traditional cloth modifier, you just bake the simulation and then you go to delete all bakes. And then if you bake the simulation again for another iteration, and let's just put some scenarios to it. Scenario 1, you want to increase your resolution. For the traditional cloth modifier, you have to change your subdivision level, clear the cache, rebake, and for geometry nodes, it's as simple as changing the resolution of your mesh. And depending on how your node tree is set up, if you have a million nodes, it's going to be really laggy and you're not going to be able to do it this way. But if it's a very simple setup like we have here, then you should be able to just change your resolution and it still plays back in real time while you're doing this. Or you have to rebuild part of your setup. So like it's a toss-up. For another scenario, number 2, say you want to change the timing. For the traditional, you adjust keyframes, clear your cache, and rebake. Same deal as the other one. And for geometry nodes, it's pretty much the same thing. So it's about the same on changing the timing of the animation. Now for test number 4, we're gonna be running the numbers. I ran the same simulation, same mesh density, same collision, same frame range on both systems, recorded viewport FPS, and simulation speed and bake time. So here's the numbers for that. At low poly, it's roughly equivalent to, it's still real time. It's gonna be fine. They both run fast, no big deal, super stable. And at like medium poly count, you get the cloth modifier pulls ahead a little bit because the bake speed is a little faster. The geometry node setup is slightly slower on the performance side because it has to read every node on every frame. If you get to a really high poly count, the gap grows. The traditional cloth modifier is more optimized for heavy meshes than the newer geometry nodes version of this. It's still experimental, like I said. It hasn't had the fine-tuning that the traditional cloth modifier has. Viewport playback, cloth modifier wins on the smooth and interactive preview. The geometry nodes cloth is a little bit choppier on higher resolutions. All right, so the last test was, what can you do with the geometry nodes modifiers that you can't do with the traditional cloth modifier? Tearing, I'm gonna show you how to do it. The tearing is driven by this threshold number down here, and the threshold is based on the velocity of the objects, like I was saying earlier. You can also use like simulation masks. There's a few different maps that are built into the cloth modifier's node, and because everything is in nodes, like I was saying, you can chain these effects together. So you simulate your cloth and you spawn points based on the velocity of your cloth. Final answer, the setup speed is gonna go to the old cloth modifier. Artistic control, gonna give that to geometry nodes. It's about the same on the revisions. Performance is probably gonna go to the old cloth modifier because it's not fine-tuned yet. It's an experimental feature. Keep up. And as far as unique capabilities, there's endless possibilities that you can do with the geometry nodes version of this. So is the geometry nodes one better than traditional cloth modifier? Not yet. Not for most people, not for a beginner that needs a tablecloth by Friday. The traditional cloth modifier is a tool like anything else in this toolbox. The geometry nodes cloth is a framework and you build on top of it. That's what makes it different. And the ceiling isn't set by what the developers have shipped. It's set by what the Blender community can really do with it. So my honest take is use them both. Use what you know until you learn what you don't know. The gap is gonna close fast with future updates. I'm excited to see where this new Blender chapter is going. Who knows? Maybe we'll try out the XPBD, the new physics solver in Blender. They've got one for physics. It's geometry nodes. It's cool. We might do a video on it. If this was helpful, make sure you like and subscribe. And I want to thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video. As always, this project file will be available on Gumroad. See you in the next one.